the channel, and if you're new here, hi, my name is Jessica. In today's video, I wanted to share the ultimate question that we all get every single day: what's for dinner? And sometimes it can be very daunting to try to come up with new meal ideas. So I thought I would just share what we had for dinner this week and hopefully just give you some inspiration or ideas for your own family. But in this week's video, for the most part, my son was not eating with us. It was just my husband and I. So these meals can easily be modified to either 2 people, or if you're having a larger family gathering or just your family, you can definitely create these to fit any number of family members. Let's go ahead and get right into it. This week, I started by creating some individualized open-face Sloppy Joe style pizzas using Texas toast. I started by browning up 1 pound of ground beef, and I probably could have used a half a pound since this night it was just my husband and I eating. But I seasoned it with about 1.5 teaspoons of garlic salt, onion powder, and pepper. Then I just mashed it and let it cook. So once it was pretty well browned, I drained off the excess grease and tossed in some pepperonis that I had cut into quarter-sized pieces. Then I added in a half a jar of some pizza sauce that I had left in the fridge with a little water, just enough to kind of clean the jar out. Once I did that, the consistency still wasn't quite what I wanted, so I went ahead and added in an additional amount of marinara. I would guess it was probably about 1.5 cups total. But I did just eyeball it until I got the saucy consistency that I was looking for. So I let that meat mixture simmer while I heated the Texas toast at a preheated oven of 425 degrees for just about 5 minutes. I didn't want to cook it for the full time because I was going to be putting it back in. Finally, I topped it with that saucy meat mixture and our favorite pizza toppings. I used some purple onion, green bell pepper, olives of course are my favorite, and mozzarella cheese. Then I put it back in the oven for about 3 to 5 minutes, and I did watch it very carefully because I just wanted to see that the cheese was melting and it just started to brown. And this is such a quick and easy meal. Totally family friendly, especially if you have some littles at home. They could have some fun dressing their own little pizza. This next night, I decided to make a mashed potato casserole to help get rid of some things that were lingering in my pantry and freezer. And I had some packets of mashed potatoes that I needed to use, so I went ahead and prepared those as directed on the package. I spread those potatoes evenly into a 9x13 baking dish. Then I topped with some frozen mixed veggies that I had in my freezer. And you can use any vegetables here, but I wanted to use this up. Then I topped it with some shredded cheddar cheese. For the chicken, I'm using a Great Value brand of chicken strips, and I really like these and I highly recommend them if you haven't already tried. I did let them sit on the counter for just a bit so that they were not completely frozen and made it a little easier to cut into smaller chunks. I layered those onto the casserole, and then I baked this uncovered for 20 minutes in a 400-degree preheated oven. And finally, I had some au jus gravy in the pantry that I also needed to use up. So I prepared that as directed on the package. And I did add the flour just to help to make it a little bit thicker, which was an option on the back of the package as well. Once that was done, I drizzled that gravy all over the casserole, and I will say this is not the prettiest meal, but it was really delicious, and it was only my husband and I eating on this night as well, so we had plenty of leftovers, and we both agreed that it was really good, if not better, the next day. Well, it wasn't a Tuesday, but tacos sounded just right for this night. So I decided to make some taco lettuce wraps. And I started by preparing my ground beef. Once it was mostly browned, I added in 2 tablespoons of taco seasoning, 1 can of drained corn, and a can of drained and rinsed black beans, about 1 cup of salsa. So for this night, I was just using the Hurdy's medium salsa, and I mixed that together really well. Next, I added in my secret ingredient to my taco mixture, which is Parmesan cheese. And I usually use a grated Parmesan, but I was out, so I just used shredded. I learned this from one of my husband's customers from years ago. She added Parmesan to her taco meat and it added such a good flavor. So it's something that I try to remember to do when I'm making tacos now. I had some butter leaf lettuce on hand and of course all the taco fixings. And I usually use a romaine leaf for this, but I've been hooked on this butter leaf lettuce lately. It really does live up to its name. These tacos were so yummy, and it's definitely a meal that the whole family will enjoy. It's a great low carb option with the lettuce instead of the tortillas if you're into that kind of thing. So I highly recommend you give this a try and give that butter leaf lettuce a try too. For this last night, I decided to do a spicy chicken sandwich with an attempt at making a Chick-fil-A sauce. I started by baking a few crispy chicken strips in the oven as directed on the package, and it was just the 2 of us this night, so I only used 4 of the strips. While that was in the oven, I started on my mock Chick-fil-A sauce, and in a small bowl, I added 1/4 cup of mayo, 1 teaspoon of mustard, 1 tablespoon of honey, and about 1 tablespoon of barbecue sauce. Today I'm trying out this Primal Kitchen barbecue sauce, but any barbecue sauce works good for this. Then I whisked it all together and set it aside. I thought the sauce was good, but it was not exactly like the Chick-fil-A sauce, so I'll definitely need to keep working on that and try to perfect it. If you have a good recipe, go ahead and leave it in the comments down below. I'd love to try it. Next, I sliced a tomato. I already had some lettuce prepared, so I didn't need to prep that. And I wanted our buns a little toasty, so I just used the same cooking sheet that my chicken was on and buttered both sides and put it in the oven on broil for just a few minutes. I started to prepare the sandwich with the chicken strips, some Frank's wing sauce for the spiciness, and of course my homemade Chick-fil-A sauce. And then I topped it with a slice of pepper jack cheese, but I decided I wanted to go ahead and put it back into the broiler for just a bit to let the cheese melt. Once it was melted, I topped with some of those delicious butter leaf lettuce and a couple slices of tomato. Some slices of pickle or onion would be great too, but since I didn't have any sliced pickles on hand, I just put on a spear along the side with a ramekin of that sauce for dipping the sandwich in. This was perfect for just the two of us. It's very simple to make since it just uses chicken strips, and even though my sauce was not exactly like Chick-fil-A, I will say it was pretty tasty, but I'll continue to work on perfecting it. All right, everyone, that's gonna wrap up this week's video. My hope for this video was to share just some ideas so that you can get out of that rut that you might be in of trying to think about what you're gonna make for dinner. And sometimes we get stuck making the same meals over and over and over. So hopefully this gives you some ideas to create some new meals. Also, if you're just cooking for two, these are very easy to make just for two or for your whole family. So hopefully this will inspire you as well in that area. As usual, I'm gonna leave all of the ingredients down in the description box. So feel free, if you decide to make some of these, you can check out the details there. And I will see you in next week's video. Thanks so much for watching.